Oh, all right. Well, I guess we. Man, I knew it. See, I was hitting the button I was trying to get set up, and we ended up a little bit going live right before I was ready. But it is what it is. We're live now, right? We got it working and twerking. I think I got everything working and twerking. Um, it's Monday night, man. It's Monday night. We did a little bit of racing over the weekend. We got some things accomplished. You know, we made passes on the car, and right now I got the car back in the garage because I'm working on the next steps. Obviously, we've got some stuff to repair, we got some stuff to look at, and obviously the next video. So we have got that going on right now in the background. Let me see here. All right, all right. But do want to say huge shout out to Raid Shadow Legends. They are today's live stream sponsor. Right now, if you guys are not already playing Raid Shadow Legends and you want to get involved, now's the best time to get started. If you click the link in the description or the top pin comment or scan the QR code on the screen, whatever you got to do, just hit one of them links. You'll get unique bonuses worth $30. You're going to get a free Epic Champion, 200,000 silver, 1 energy refill, XP boost, and an Ancient Shard so you can summon awesome champions as soon as you get right in the game and get started. Now tonight we're gonna get started on this, and I'm gonna talk to you guys a little bit, answer some questions. But first, I'm gonna do up some stuff here, some stuff that I got going on, so that way I can get right into this bad boy. Hold on, where are my comments at? I need to see my comments. Which one of these has my comments? That's the one that has my comments. Good evening, Dave, Brad. All right, Jonathan, Paul. I see people are starting to log in and tune in. So hopefully we can get. I don't know why every time I open that screen it's kicking my comments out. I'll open my comments on the phone. It is what it is. What are you guys up to this evening? What's everybody doing? Where y'all tuning in from? How y'all making it happen this evening? All right, let me turn the volume down. All right, so let me explain that. We're gonna start getting into this right here, and I'm gonna explain what's going on. Right. So I didn't get rid of the Camaro. Calm down, everybody. Everybody got to calm down real quick. We'll make this nice and easy. All right. Philly in the building, working late, making that bankroll. Michigan just chilling. I haven't been to Michigan in a while. I need to go out to Michigan. But some folks are asking questions about the. I think I get that. That's the freebie. Yep. Some folks are asking questions about the Camaro, right? So let me explain what happened here and how we got to this point, right? Now, I'll be 110% honest with you guys. I'll take it from the top. So I was a little frustrated, right, with the performance of the Camaro Firebird. Yes, whatever you want to call it, aka Firebird. Absolutely. I was a little perturbed, I guess you could say, with the overall performance of the car this past weekend. Not that it was bad, not that it was horribly bad. It really does work. It did go pretty fast, but it was on a prepped track, right? So, naturally that prep track is going to get rid of some variables, and it's going to make it a lot easier to go down the surface, and it shouldn't be hard, right? I'm a street racer. We race no prep and street stuff. Like, it should be pretty easy to get down a prep track because it's generally more prep and a better surface than we're used to. So, it went down on through there a few times. I think we made 5-6 passes throughout the evening. I had to buy in a class just to be able to make more passes. So we ended up doing that. And one thing that I don't think I mentioned in the video, but even like the guy first round, I was like, dude, you can have the back tire, you can have the hit, you can have whatever you want. I really don't care. And I'm at the point where I'm just paying to make passes, right? That's what I'm doing here. So I don't care, like, if you are, want to go far in this shootout or go rounds. Like the thing was, they were giving us an extra test pass, which was that first pass you saw me line up against somebody else, and they were, giving us that shakedown pass, and then after that we went into eliminations. So that's the only one where I bumped in. All the other ones I've completely screwed myself, and not really screwed myself, just was having a little bit of issue with learning the car and having seat time, because what I would realize is at some points I'd go a little bit too far, and then at one point I know I had one single bulb lit up. I got on the trans brake, and when I got on the trans brake, let off the brake, it rolled a little bit, which rolled me into the double bulb. And so it's just, that's little stuff you got to figure out. The Nova did it too, except the Nova used to do it backwards, and it drove me nuts. I think it still does it to this day. Like where I went to a track one time and I was on the trans brake, double bulb, and it rolls backwards, so it rolled out of the second bulb, and it like red lit me, and it drove me nuts for a while, right, trying to get this figured out. So we took it out, and it went pretty well. And then I reviewed a lot of the videos and the footage, and how did it perform, and how did the suspension handle, and everything, whatever. Well, I was a little bit frustrated because, in all honesty, it should be working better than it is, right? It should be a little easier. Oh, I got a new champion. It should be a little bit easier to go a little bit faster than it's going, right? So I had made a joke on Facebook. Hey, I'm a raffle this thing off, whatever, 100 spots or whatever it was. And a bunch of people jumped on there and were like, hey, I'll get in on that. And I was like, all right, you know what? We're going to play this game today. And cool, I'll put a list up, right? I'll put a list up. You guys, because I love just like, everybody's like, oh, I'm going to do, I'll do that. Oh, word? Well, let me put this list up then. Let's put the money where the mouth is. And that's where it kind of bit me in the ass, right? So I ended up putting up a thing, full description, everything. So we did that, right? And I was like, cool, whatever. A couple people jumped on there, no big deal. And not the end of the world, yeah, okay. So then what ended up happening was, oh man, this is where things went south. Then Billy shared it on his personal page in SRC. And anytime Billy shares anything on his personal page or SRC, you know what I mean, it just is bound to go nuts. So it went absolutely nuts and all that kind of stuff. And some people started jumping on there. And then I sat down and I was like, okay, so let's see here, right? Let me sit down and let me do the math on what it would take for me to purchase every piece of this car and put it into another car, right? Because I was like, maybe this is a good thing. Maybe I'll get rid of this car and we'll put a nice motor in the Nova, and you know what I mean, put a nice motor and a big turbo or something, and then I'll get a really good head start on the other chassis. Because if you guys don't remember, I have the other second gen Camaro chassis, which is like 25 something chromoly, 4-link. It has a 9-inch housing. There's no center section, there's no brakes, there's none of that stuff. But it, I think it's a probably a nicer chassis than this one. It's, for one, it's chromoly. This is mild steel. So ultimately, I would think it'd be a lighter chassis and all that kind of stuff. And then after looking at the math, I'm like, I just don't think it's doable. I think I shot myself in the foot by just, because mostly I was just joking. If you even read the posts, like if you go up to the top and read the comments on that post, like I was arguing with people, you know what I mean, and all that. So like, we were cracking jokes, and I was like, this is stupid, and it would never fill anyway, and blah 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 blah, and that kind of turned around, and you know what I mean, went from there. All right, hold on. Why am I? Oh, because I got them backwards. There we go. Play some shooting games here. Actually, I was not a Marine. Not true. Was not a Marine. I was in the Army and then in the Air Force. And this game that we're actually talking about here, Raid Shadow Legends, is today's live stream video sponsor. So, bam. Can you put NOS on a turbo car? You absolutely can. Yeah, you can, and there's people that do it, and there's applications for it and everything else. It's not something that we need. You know what I mean? I got that game on my phone. Damn right. So what's funny is because people will be talking like a hot mess about, oh, you don't play that game or you don't play games or whatever, and I actually this is what I do. Like when it's the end of my night, whenever that is, 3, 4, 5 a.m., whatever, depends on how late I'm working in the garage or whatever the case may be. I sit down and play games on my phone. If you want to get rid of it, yeah, it is mine to sell. We have an agreement, and it is mine to do with what I want. How far does your car roll forward? It'll hold, but it's frustrating. I don't know how far forward it rolls. I just noticed that one time when I got on the trans brake, that I did move into the next beam. So I don't know how close to the next beam I was or how far forward it really moved. Sometimes you'll notice that, and it could just be as simple as waiting to let off of the brake before I, like make sure I'm all the way on the trans brake before I let my foot off the brake would make it a little easier. Set up your bump to roll instead of bump won't rock back. Yeah, that's not an issue. We're not having an issue with the bump. The bump was actually completely fine. And to set up to roll instead of bump is a whole other process, which if anybody has done, if you've done, I'm sure you know what I mean. It's not, it's not just, oh, we're just going to type this in, it's going to work real quick. There's a lot of trial and error in that because there's no actual answer of it takes this much duty cycle at this frequency and blah, blah, blah. You got to play with it. If you do buy a motor for fool's gold, you're going to turbo it. Yeah, I'm pretty sold on the turbo stuff right now. I enjoy the feeling and the power. And the difference, in the best way that I can describe the difference between the turbo and nitrous is the nitrous makes pretty much all the power it's going to make, like right from the start. You know what I mean? You might ramp it in over whatever, a second and a half, 2 seconds, whatever the case may be. But at that point, it's pretty much going to make all the steam it's going to make. You know what I mean? But the turbo, it just feels like it's continuously accelerating. Like it's continuously getting faster the entire way down the track is the best way to describe the feeling. And it's a lot of fun. I'm downloading Raid Shadow Legends. If you do, make sure you hit my link or hit the QR code. They're going to give you guys some free stuff. You're going to get, free in-game cash and free champions and all that kind of cool stuff. So use the bump with his left foot on the brake to keep the car calm. Yeah, you can do that too. And that's all going to come from seat time. That's stuff that I haven't done yet. I haven't figured out yet, and all that is all just going to come with seat time and learning the car. And because also, I don't know if you guys know or not, but when you make changes in the leave, so whereas we might give it more RPM or more boost or take away or timing, well, timing retard's really not going to matter too much, but when you do those things, you also have to adjust the bump itself. And then there's ways that you can set it up. Like once you get it all figured out, then you can make an external table that will auto adjust it for you. Once you've figured out what all the settings are, then you can do that. But that all, once again, comes from seat time and comes from, working on it and figure it out. Wouldn't getting parts be tough right now, even with connections? Well, surprisingly, I'll put it to you this way. There's a couple things I know. Because when I realized the head gaskets were up in this engine, I decided that, I had even said on video, if this engine doesn't work out, I'll go ahead and buy one. So I started looking, and one of the things, I found several engines that are like in cars, ready to be pulled, for sale, proven engines, stuff like that. Uh, I've talked to Mike, and he had given me a quote on building a short block, and he said it would be, I don't know, whatchamacallit. He said it would be like 3 weeks or something. But that, there is options. Also, what gear is the car? It doesn't sound like you're running it out to quarter. No, I never really run it out to the quarter. The first pass I made down the track was the closest I got to running it all the way out the back door to the quarter, and that's just because we were making no boost. So it wasn't, it was going really slow, and it took a while to get through all the gears. But the gear, right now, it's currently a 430. Hello from Newport, Tennessee. What up? Let me look at this map. Right now, bam, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get all these stars by beating it with only 2 champions, so I can get my skills up. Sounded like you go lower in worker. Do you have intercooler? No, right now it's non-intercooled E85 is the current setup. Oklahoma. I'm hoping if you do this, go big block. Absolutely not. Pat UC 959 Fool's Gold. Absolutely not. Thought you were coming out Saturday night for some grudge racing. I thought about it, and then after I was up till whatever it was, I didn't go to bed till like 7 a.m. Friday. Went out there Friday night, did all that, and then Saturday I woke up and I was just exhausted, and I was like, I'm not touching the car. I'm not going back to Del Mar. I'm not doing nothing. I'm going to sleep. And that's what I did. I didn't even end up making the video from the track until Sunday. Yeah, 80K just falls from the sky. Yeah, that's the problem. Like, I got to be realistic about what it is that I'm doing, too. I can't, yeah, it'd be awesome to have a twin turbo big block. But, what if it breaks? The flip side is if an LS breaks, I can always grab another junkyard LS. Those are plentiful. You know what I mean? I can always get so many of certain parts that, we can put the motor together. I can get head studs, gaskets, cam, all that stuff is really on the shelf. But when you start messing with combinations, shit, don't need an intercooler. You have has the ice. No, I don't have that right now. The intercooler, the in between the intake one, I don't have that on right now. But like I was saying, it's even worse and more expensive with a big block. Like, if that goes wrong, then here's the thing. I'm gonna be straight up. If it goes wrong, I'm gonna end up taking it out and putting another LS in it. So why not, from the start, just go ahead and do what I was going to do anyway. Now, that's not to say that the big block that I have here, I do want to have that redone, and I do plan on having some fun with that, but it's not the top priority at the moment, top goal, top priority at the moment. That's not what's going on. Let Mark Benson help you out, Steve Drummond. Yeah, those are local pro mod guys. Those guys are really, really fast. Drummond has a shop. What up, Chris Johnson? Smart move, sticking to the S. Oh, I thought you got that fixed. No, I don't have it on the car right now. So, what the way that it worked out is I sent it back to 417. They said, damn, I burned myself cooking earlier. They said, it could be repaired. It'd be this much to repair it, or we'll give you a replacement one for this much. And the cost was too close together that it didn't make sense to repair it, just to buy a new one. Now they've got that sitting off on hold off to the side for me, because if you guys know anything about my luck with this car here recently, I've been breaking stuff faster than I can fix it. So I was like, you know what? Let me hold off on that, and let me figure out if anything else is going to absolutely need money first. You know what I mean? If anything else is going to pop up that's going to require being fixed, before I spend money on that, let me make sure that, that the car can even run and drive and everything, and we can use it and nothing else is broken before I go ahead and spend money on that stuff. It's running good, just more seat back time. Yeah. Montana. Big block. Well, the big block is here, and at one point I was working with somebody, and we were gonna talk about having it refreshed and redone, and we may still do that. What's important right now is I need to continue to have seat time, and just continue to work on it. Ultimately, when I got this Camaro, my thought process was that it was going to make it super easy to swap everything over to the new chassis. Like, I bought it with that in mind. Like, hey, in the future, I can swap everything over to this new chassis because I'll have a car that's, full of parts. Now, granted, not everything is going to go over, but I'll have a lot of stuff, and then I'll be left with a roller, and if I want to, be left with a roller or get rid of it or whatever the case may be, we can do it. What's up at the Game One screen? Raid Shadow Legends is today's live stream sponsor, so that's why we got Raid Shadow Legends going on. I'm actually playing it while I'm talking to you guys and answering questions. But that's why we got a Game One screen. They decided to jump up, support the program. Hey, I ain't mad at it. Folks want to support the program, I'm all about it. This is the kind of stuff that is going to get us racing and keep us racing. So if you guys haven't already, if for some reason you haven't already and you guys want to play Raid Shadow Legends, do me a favor. Use the QR code on the screen. Use my link in the description or the pinned comment. They're going to give you, a bunch of free stuff. They're going to give you free champions, free XP, free, in-game cash, all that kind of stuff. So, no doubt. Get you an old 396 with a 3/4 cam. I have a 496. I've got 100 more cubic inches. I'm mad you got that new belly hat before I did. Oh, you like that, right? That's just because look, Isaac, I gotta send you this video. Remind me when I get off a live stream. I gotta send you this video, and of what I did with your dad the other day. Shit was funny. I'm gonna LS swap my 95 step side, but I don't know if I want to carb it or Holley tunnel ram it. Personally, I love Holley. I love the amount of things that you can do with Holley. In this setup here, we've barely even scratched the surface and potential of what you can do with Holley, and so I really enjoy it. Not that you can't do the same thing with a carb. You absolutely can, and you can add electronics and everything. I just like that. For the LS platform especially, it's all in one package. It's all right there. You know what I mean? You're all good to go. So that's my personal thing. But I've ran the carb several times. I ran the carb on an LS in Fool's Gold. I ran a carb on the LS in the Dodger. I've run fuel injection on the Dodger. The fastest it ever went was the Dodger. The fastest we ever got it was eventually when I went to the Nitrous Express plate setup on a truck intake, spraying about 200 through Holley Terminator. I still sprayed a wet kit. I didn't do the dry, which people tell me I'm an idiot for, that I need to just run the nitrous dry and let Holley and the injectors do all the work. But because of how crappy that truck was, and there was a lot of reasons, I was like, it's just going to be safer if we spray it with a wet shot, and I know it's getting the right fuel and all that kind of stuff. So what do you think about an S10 with a Mopar 440 big block? I think it's cool. I think if you're going to... I'm a fan of all different kinds of shit. Like, I enjoy cars. I've been screwing up cars since I was 16. I've done all kinds of stuff. I don't know if you guys have ever seen some of the pictures on the wall. I used to have an Audi, A4 all-wheel drive turbo deal. I built a 51 Chevy Styline, 4-door thing that we built right here in this garage. Like, I handmade, sheet metal seats, and I bought a bead roller, and I tried to do all that kind of stuff just because it's something that I'm interested in. I've always enjoyed hands-on. So, S10 with a Mopar 440, if it's something you got and throw together, I think it's cool because it'll be different. If you're talking about racing it, unless you have a whole lot of 440 parts and you have access to that stuff, I don't think that I don't think it's going to be the best for racing, because racing is a long-term game. You have to keep being able to go week in, week out, and once again, why I use LS motors, because I can get them very easily. If I absolutely had to, I could get them out of the I could pull it out of the Tahoe. No BS. I did it one year at Dig or Die, I think it was. Yeah, there was one year at Dig or Die. I needed a spark plug wire. I went and pulled one off my friend's Silverado because I burnt one up, landed on the header, and I just walked over to a Silverado, popped the hood, grabbed it, put it in the car, ran the car, put the then put the spark plug wire back, and we were good to go. I'm late. The Dodger is, but I don't know what the Dodger is. Brother gets it from his cargo van, 6 of 440. The weight in the front would be crazy. It would be crazy, and it would, if you're gonna do no prep, it is it's hard. You know what I mean? No prep, you really want to shoot for a 50-50 or better to the rear weight bias. And when you use any pickup truck in general, you're already starting at a disadvantage, I feel like, because the weight bias is already off from the start, any kind of truck. Not to say that you can't get around that and that it can't be done, and we see plenty of people with trucks and plenty of different ways. And look at the Gap Train S10, they got the turbo mounted up back behind the cab, and there's all kinds of ways. I'm just saying, easiest, I think, starting with a truck puts you at a disadvantage. So starting with a truck and a big block in it, you have all the weight up front. You really are going to have to do some work to figure it out. Yep, I'm 56 over the nose. Yeah, yep, 56% over the nose, and it's crazy. It makes a lot of difference. So, running a catch can. I'm running right now. I have a catch can with two 10AN feeds coming off of the whatchamacallit, off of the valve covers, and ultimately, my opinion, and from what research I've done and what I would like to do in the future, even non-meth, they definitely in a methanol car you pretty much have to, but even in an E85 setup like this, I want to go to a rear puke tank with a minimum 12 AN line to the puke tank. 16 would be best. The name of the game is getting as much of that moisture out as humanly possible and getting it away from the engine as possible. So, if you're going to use a catch can, just use a catch can. You know what I mean? It's not the end of the world. But I think the best way, I believe, would be to go ahead and do a rear puke tank. That would be my opinion. Even if it's just E85, even if you're not on methanol and all that, I still think it would be best. Let me hit up. I'm gonna put this on auto real quick so I can read some of these comments. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna set myself up right. So we'll do that. We'll do that one because I want to get these levels up on these folks right here. So we're gonna hit the multi-battle. Bam. And we're just going to let that bad boy run. 16 AN, yeah. Why ditch SBC when aluminum LS to get 6 cylinders behind the front axle high? And yes, buffer lines actually push less oil. Can't go too big. Yeah. Was hoping to see a Dig or Die this weekend. I was hoping that we could have gone to Dig or Die. That would have been cool. But we are tremendous amounts of seat time away from being ready to take this car on the back half of a track like that and be competitive. I would have just been throwing away money left and right had I brought this car to Dig or Die. I'm starting to wonder if, the way that this chassis is set up, because I got it and it was already done, I'm not sure that this is ever going to be the most competitive back half car ever. I think front half no prep is really where this one could possibly shine if we can get it to act how it's supposed to, and we can make the power I want to make and do all that kind of stuff. But I hate to say it. Well, I sat down and watched the Dig or Die video from the last time I was there, and I sat there and watched the Nova, and I was like, man, that chassis worked very well for that style of racing. And I think it's hard. I think you're gonna. It's very, very hard to make a car do it all. To do front half no prep very well, especially with as fast as these guys are going now, and do back half, no prep very well. It's hard to make it all happen at the same car. If you guys watch Turbo John at all, Turbo John, he does it with his car, but he does a lot of changing and back and forth, and it takes a lot to make the car go from one situation to another. So it is what it is. But should have gone 4-link. Well, the other chassis I have is 4-link. Think ladder bars will be your limit on how hard you can hit it on no prep? I don't think so. And here's why. One thing I've noticed about this 4-link, and it's incredibly prevalent when I get on a front half prep track surface like I did this weekend, it's incredibly prevalent that the ladder bar, by its design and its nature, wants to destroy the tire. It wants to shove that thing into the ground. It just wants to slam it down into the ground. Now, on a prep track surface like I was on this weekend, this is not the greatest thing in the world. What was happening was I was continuously going up in tire pressure and trying to keep as much air in the tire and trying to find a happy medium between leaving with enough RPM that we could build the boost we needed because the converter is tight, and then with as little RPM as necessary so we don't destroy the tire. There's a fine balance there. But with all that, we ended up having tire shake. So every time I left the line, the first 60, 100 foot, I was feeling vibration, and it was tire shake. It wasn't as bad as tire shake can be. It wasn't like rattling me to death in there, but I felt it, and I was concerned. But to that end, I also think that that could be beneficial on a crappy back half surface, because what you're trying to do is plant the tire very well and keep you also have to have the front and the weight bias working properly and everything to keep the weight on the back tire. But if you can slam it into the ground and keep it there and then have the weight and all that, perfect world. I think there is some good to having a ladder bar for a no prep back half of the track kind of deal. It is impossible to almost make a car go good. No one is touching Billy. Yeah, I'm just tired. I'm tired of answering the same questions about Billy that I answer a million times. And, we're friends. We text each other. We live 8 hours away. It is what it is. Right? What's what limit you have? 10 different sets of ladder bars to control the tire and how your aerodynamic squat increase will be. Yeah, there is. There. Front suspension tricks, trick springs, ball joints, etc. Any tips for trucks? Get as much. The Dodger was an S10 chassis. It was an extended cab S10 chassis, so it was a long wheelbase, like 112 or 114 inches, I think. So not, in my opinion, the best for back half of the track no prep. And we never raced back half of the track no prep because it was also, I never scaled it, but I'm sure it was 60% or more heavy on the front end. But we did do No Prep Kings. We did do some. What did we do out there in Ohio? We did one of D Team's races, which like started at the finish line of the 8th and that kind of stuff. But it has trick springs on it and on the front, and I think they work incredibly well. I did the same thing Billy did. I cut out that bump stop in the upper control arm, and when we did No Prep Kings, actually when we did that, we did pacemakers and all that kind of stuff. I could actually make the car maybe lift both front tires, but definitely lift the driver's side front tire off the ground. So when's the next testing? Next testing. So what I want to do, I got the car in the garage now, and what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put it up on jack stands. I want to go through all of the rear suspension stuff that I added, because throughout the night I was constantly checking the jam nuts, the lock nuts on the ladder bars that I had built, and out of the entire night I did find that one ended up a little loose. I tightened it up again, but what I want to do is I want to get it up in the air, let everything hang, and really measure it out again, crank on it good, all that kind of stuff. So I want to do that. I want to also look at the front, because in some of the videos it looks like the front side driver's tire is like it's, towed in pretty bad. But then when I was sitting here, when I had it on the trailer earlier to get it off the trailer, I sat and looked, and it doesn't look like that at all. So I'm not sure if it was just a weird camera angle thing or what, but I want to just go over everything and check it all out. Smart preventative measures. Yep. Do a wheelie and front tire still touch. Yeah, not on the Dodger. We did get the Dodger to wheelie, which was pretty dope. I thought it was cool. The Dodger ran a personal best in the Dodger was 698, and I forget at what mile an hour. But that was the reason that happened is because I was pushing. It still has a factory S10 rear with a 308 gear and an eBay mini spool in it. So everybody's like, you're gonna break it, blah 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 blah. So like, it was a personal goal that I wanted to be in the 6s in the 8th mile in that truck, and we did it, and it was pretty fun. The alignment looked off when it started to lift. Yeah, the problem ultimately, and I talked about it in the other video, the way the control arms, the way that the front of this car is built and the control arms, I could only take them in so far, and I can only do so much about the camber, right? I'm at a point where I have maxed it out in one direction to try to keep the camber straight up and down as possible at full travel. I cannot go any further without either changing the ride height of the vehicle and limiting how far it can travel, which I don't want to do. I'd rather keep the front end up, and I'd rather keep as much travel in it as I possibly can. Or I'm either going to have to get a longer lower control arm or a shorter upper control arm to kind of fix that. So that's the point we're at now. So we're doing the best we can with what we have, and it kind of is what it is. I'm going to continue to look at it and continue to try to make adjustments, but it is what it is. Hit second gear, it jumps. Yeah, it's not supposed to jump when it hits second gear. It shouldn't do that. I think the converter is really too tight. When you have the weight off the front, don't the camber change? Yeah, there. Whatchamacallit, I believe Kevin Wilson, I believe is his name, does a lot of great videos on alignment and suspension and all that stuff. And I watched a lot of that stuff and did a lot of research when I started messing with the front end of this thing. Do you think there's a minimum horsepower to be level needed to be competitive in small tires, and more just about chassis setup? It's give and take, right? So I think at minimum, and small tire wear, back half, front half, big events, little local events, all that stuff kind of comes into play. I think, and this is a theory that I have that I was thinking about possibly testing, but I think that you can do more with an overbuilt chassis and not have as much power. So it goes two ways, right? Horsepower, raw horsepower will make up for a lack of chassis. If you have the raw power to just push it in the direction, it can make up for some flaws in chassis, but not ultimately all. And you got to keep in mind everything I'm saying. Like everything that I'm saying has a caveat to it and a limit, right? but I think, for example, if I took my other second gen Camaro that is 25 whatever, set up for 4-link, if I went crazy on that chassis, put a lot of nice stuff, I'm talking control arms, 4-link, tin soldier stuff, anti-roll bar. Like if I went crazy on that thing and had a really, really nice, superb chassis, I could take a junkyard 5.3 that is capable of making 800 to 1,000 horsepower, and I could do decent with it because the chassis I could make work so well. Because you can have 1,500 horsepower, but if you can't get it to the ground and you're constantly turning it down to 800, then what? I'd rather put the full 800 down in a good chassis than be constantly turning it down. To answer the question of is there a minimum and all that kind of stuff, nowadays you're gonna have to you're gonna have to be making 1,000. I'm not gonna BS you guys, like 800, 900, 1,000, you're gonna have to be making a lot of power to be competitive, to go deep into rounds, to go out and have fun. There's still guys that that just aren't that fast, and they go out and you maybe can catch some of those guys. Or literally the whole reason I started throwing shitbox races and have shitbox classes and pro classes, so the pro classes, the fast guys can go do what they need and shitbox guys can go have fun. But it takes a lot of power, a lot of chassis. It's advancing so fast. What was fast 2 years ago is slow now. You know what I mean? What was fast a year ago is slow now. Like it's some of these guys are no BS, have cars that are capable of and have gone 4-second eighth miles in front half no preps. You know what I mean? So I went really off on a tangent on that. My man Amp can't stay. We'll watch video later. Have a great stream. Thank you, Amp. Thank you. Remember lighter, longer strings to get the front end. I go with stiffer springs in front. Is in my store. Yeah, so we do. That's another thing I did. I did go with a lighter, longer spring in the front when I did the coilovers. So yeah, and a blank check, you do very good. Oh, if I had a blank check, man, I could tell you, if I had a blank check, there are some people I know that I would hire in a heartbeat, and you know what I mean. It's we could do some stuff because there's some really, really smart people I know in the world, and I feel like if I could get all of them together into one, like, and everybody's energy and focus and attention into one team, or you know what I mean, I think it's amazing what could be done. You follow Lookout, Matt? I do not. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I feel like 12 to 1,300. Yeah, I mean, I think you at least need 1,000. Matt, do you think we have seen the peak of small tire no prep? Do you think the big money guys are going to hurt like radial racing? All right, let me handle something I got to handle real quick, and we will get on that question, right? Because I want to, first of all, I want to see if I got some new champions. But once again, I want to thank today's live stream sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends, for sponsoring today's live stream and for helping us out, supporting the program. Like I said, it's the things like this that are going to allow us to continue racing and to continue making forward progress, which I'm really excited about because, you know, we have a running car now. Is it running the best? Is it ready to be competitive and kick ass and all that? I don't know. But we're going to need seat time, and we're going to have to get it figured out. So I want to thank Raid Shadow Legends. If you guys do not play Raid Shadow Legends, make sure you hit the QR code on the screen or the link in the description or the link pinned at the top of this comment. Go download it. They're going to give you guys $30 worth of value. They're going to give you a free Epic Champion. They're going to give you guys... they're going to give you guys the silver. They're going to give you an energy refill, XP boost, and an ancient shard. They're going to give you guys all kinds of cool stuff. So I want to say once again, thank you to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring today's live stream and for being a part of it. It really means a lot, guys, and I appreciate you guys watching this live stream that or support this and allow me to do this. I'm still asking questions and everything while I'm playing the game. It's awesome because this, believe it or not, I'm going to be straight up with you guys. This really does help our program quite a bit. So it's super important. Now, do we think I've seen the peak of small tire no prep? Here is what I think we've seen the peak of, right? What I think right now, it is an awesome, awesome time to be a racer in small tire no prep. Because everybody has realized that no prep is popular. Everybody's caught on. Everybody and their brother is trying to throw one. And I'm just going to say it. 99.9% of no preps are all 100% the same. It's all the same thing. It's all generally the same classes. It all is. And a large majority of people just want to keep doing these big races with big payouts and blah, 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 and big buy-ins and whatever. My personal belief is I think that Shitbox No Prep is different and caters to a different crowd. That's the whole reason I did it. But we're not gonna go off of that tangent just yet. We'll save that for another time. But right now, what we're seeing is if you're a no prep racer, every weekend in most of the country, most of everywhere in the country except where I live, of course, there is a no prep event that weekend. If you live in the Carolinas, you could hit a no prep race every weekend of the season, and it is awesome. And now that there's a couple things going on, gas prices through the roof, economy's hurting, people are having a hard time getting parts and getting things done. All of those factors, plus the fact that you have one every weekend. I remember when I started traveling to no prep races like 2 or 3 years ago, we all went to Midnight Madness because that was the only one. That was the only no prep event. So we had guys come from Jersey and New York, and there was people coming from across the country because that was the only place you could go to no prep that weekend. Now it's not the case. So with the exception of Dig or Die, and Clifton has been doing a good job, but for the most part, every no prep race is not going to be a 32 car field, a 64 car field, a 120 something car field. You're going to get a lot of 16 car fields, 20 car fields. And something that has made me very happy is seeing all these races and all this opportunity and everything. You're seeing a lot more people win that don't normally win just because people are more spread out. So I think that's a great thing. How can that sustain? I'm not sure. I don't know how that's going to sustain and work. Do I think that big money guys are going to hurt it, like radial racing? And just about any other form of class racing? I think what needs to happen is we need to have more classes. It needs to be separated a little bit better. Generally speaking, 28, 10, 5 and the surface, and that's not enough. That used to be enough to even the field. It's not enough to even the field anymore. I just don't think it is. So I think that it can possibly hurt because, I don't know that guys are going to keep wanting to go and spend $300, $400, $500, $600, $1,000 buy-ins to go race people that they pull up and, stackers and, have $100,000 or more in the car. And I don't know. I don't know how long that's going to last, that people are going to keep donating their money to those pots. So now, hold on, let me scroll up here. Lookout Racing, he is great. Local Dallas. No, I haven't seen him. I have to go check it out. Not turned up. Lookout Racing on YouTube. Most of the Yellow Belly. Okay, got you. Hit that like button. Yeah, a bit more expensive parts. I think it has to do with where you live and race. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but I used your link. Thank you, Anthony. Cali Nate, yeah. Hey, Matt. The Dallas area. I think big money guys have already hurt small tire. Yellow Belly is awesome. I would love to go to Yellow Belly. I would love to go to Yellow Belly one day. That is an awesome track. That I think I consider that like one of those what do you call it? Bucket list. There we go. Bucket list tracks that like you got to just go and experience. Thornburg Dominion Raceway. VA Thornburg Dominion Raceway. I'm not sure what that is. You mean Dominion? It's in Thornburg, Virginia. Dominion Raceway, maybe. Street laws, big tire vans. They're all going small tire. Yeah. Well, ultimately, if you think small tire is bad, this is what happened, right? Had small tire cars are cheaper than big tire cars. Flat out is what it is. Done. There's no even point to argue that. The fact of the matter is you cannot fit a big tire under most cars without back halving it. You can fit a small tire under most cars without back halving it. So what happened is if big tire cars were either cheaper or the same cost as small tire cars, we would have a lot more of them, and you would see like those Street Outlaws guys, like there would be a larger group of people for them to race, and we would have a lot more big tire. Perfect example, Dig or Die. I was watching some live streams over the weekend, and the big tire class, like in the finals, you know what I mean, or at least the semifinals, like the final couple rounds, whatever it was all small tire cars. There weren't even big tire cars in the late rounds of the big tire class. But they're all going to go small tire because that's where the money is, right? So what happened is small tire was affordable. You could build a small tire car. And then we had 64, 100, 200, whatever people jumping in and paying the buy-in and these huge payouts and everything. And then what eventually happened is then people with money started going, wait a minute, we can win 20, 40, 50, 100, 70, whatever grand over there racing small tire, no prep. Shit, well, I got enough money to put together one of those cars. And they did. You know what I mean? And they have, and they will continue to. As long as the money keeps paying out. .28 10.5 evens the field. The big power guys cannot put the power down like they want to. No, I don't think that's true at all. Go to a front side no prep and watch Brandon Moore crack off a 4-second pass on a 28 10.5. Go watch, the Firebird, Joey, Billy's new car, Billy's new Nova. I cannot say this for 100% certainty because I don't know, but I'm willing to bet you he made 4-second passes in that new Nova on a small tire, radial, but still. Stock suspension or ladder bar, no tube chassis, 4-link cars. I don't know that it. Don't get me wrong, it makes a difference, but I think that there's more to it than just small tire, suspension, chassis, this, that, and the other. Like, and then I'm the worst because I absolutely despise like trying to do street car rules, because no matter what you do, I don't care what kind of set of street car rules you have or what kind of crews you have or whatever, there is still some guy that can meet all those rules and has it tagged and can do all of that stuff and can probably still crack off 4-second passes. So You know what you need to do, Randy? You need to stop being so negative about absolutely every fucking comment that you make. The teams are winning with more cars, get more data. Yeah, teamwork is a big part of it too. I think that helps. Yeah, you don't see the shootouts like you used to. Yeah, yeah. It's always going to change. That's why West Coast LO has so many classes: 235, 26, 28, 29. Billy was on 29s. It's still a small tire. Back to four-cylinder class. Yeah. So, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Man, we got like 200 of y'all in here. 3-car teams are going to be tough to beat. Teams are. Here's the thing. It is hard to have a team. It is very, very hard to have multiple people working for a common good. You know what I mean? And just even in like, look at it this way, right? So, if you were to have a team, because trust me, I've thought about this. I've tried. I've thought about getting together and blah blah blah. Like everybody's in a different place in their life. So just like on a literal life thing, people have jobs, people have careers, people have families, people have all sorts of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, why am I not traveling as much as I used to right now? Well, for one, we haven't had a car running worth of crap, but for two, I've got a family and I do miss them. You would have to get a group of folks that somehow make a living out of racing and all care about the same thing 110% and get them all to work together and everything. Like that would be the perfect team. But it's very hard to do. Very, very hard to do. Boy band. Yeah, we need to start a boy band. Well, it rained earlier. Somebody says too hot to hang out in the garage. It rained earlier, so it cooled down dramatically. Damn, brother, who lit a fire under your ass at the track the other night? You had that thing flying. It wasn't flying. I don't know. Maybe it was. I'll say this. I am always the hardest on myself. You will never find. You think people in the comments are bad? I'm way harder on myself than anybody in the comments has ever been. I can tell you that. But so I don't think it was flying yet. Was it going quick? Sure. Yeah. But I expect more out of it, and I expect more out of myself. I missed a shift. I did it one time. In 6 passes, I went from first to third, and it was my fault. And everybody, I saw a bunch of comments about like fix the shifter or whatever. Like it's not fixing the shifter or whatever. It's literally my fault. The shifter in the car comes back, which number one I'm not used to. Every other car has been forward, and we've got a 3-speed, right? And the way that it works is you can pull it back, and then it'll lock, and then you have to grab the lever to get it to third, right? And what happens is if I screw up, and it's a me issue, if I screw up and if I leave my fingers in front of that lever, I will pull straight to third. So I've been trying to get into the habit of grip the shifter, let go of the button, then open the hand, grab the lever, pull back, right? So it's a me thing. It's just a seat time thing. It sure looked like it. What did the Draggy say? I'll show you guys one partial bit of information from the Draggy, just because I thought it was cool that, I don't know if it's an update or something, but it just started doing this. But on the graph, it's now showing, I'm assuming your 0 to 60 time, which mine was 2.19 seconds. Hello from Sweden. Sweden in the house. Figuring out takes time. Yep. There's a wasp behind me. I thought the car looked good. When you missed a shift, did it blow the charge pipe? No. I had missed the shift in that first test pass. That first shakedown when I bumped in against the other car. So no, I did. It blew the charge pipe at the top of first. It makes right now the car is making the most boost at the top of first gear. So 1020, no, I'm faster than that. Are you starting your burnouts in second gear? Yes. Yes. I called, no offense to you guys in the comments, but I have gotten a million different responses and everything else about it and talked to different people, and everybody says something different. So I called the transmission company themselves that built the trains and said, hey, what gear do I have to start a burnout in? And they said second, so I've been doing it second ever since. No, Jonas, I wish. Jonas Wolf. Scott Hazelton, thanks. I'm not sure what that was. Just got here. Can you repeat everything you said? All right. Oh, let me start over from the top. So, I was born on a small farm where my mother milked cows for our daily cereal. Now, wow, it must have been up near 17, 18 pounds of boost. It was. Top of first gear was the correct, the log that I have that worked the entire time and everything else. We saw a max of 17 point something pounds of boost. Faster than 1020 with a 219 60 foot. Yeah, it was faster than that. Yeah, 1 to 2 will hurt the Sprague in a 400. My 1 to 2 shift is going to hurt the 400. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's violent. What size turbos? S366s. They are S366s. Borg Warner deals. Alright, here's what we're going to do, right? It's about 10 p.m. So, what I'm going to do... yeah, zero content, good idea. I'll get that comment in a second. What I'm going to do is we're going to answer probably a few more questions, 15, 20 minutes worth, and then I've got to get to work, because what we are supposed to be doing is I'm supposed to go this weekend to go have some fun with a bunch of old friends at a diesel race, and they're doing a gas first diesel thing Friday night, 2,500 to win, no buy-in. They said I could come race in it. I'm going to get my behind spanked, but still it'd be fun, and I want to see friends, and I want to have some fun, and that's supposed to be this weekend. So I do have to get to work on the car. I have to get to work on a bunch of shitbox stuff. I have to get to work on all kinds of crap. So we're going to do a little bit more questions, and then I'm going to get off here so I can get some more work done. Do anything, do new, do it 10,000 times, and then do another 1,000, develops permanent muscle memory. Absolutely. I need to do muscle memory on the shifter. Absolutely. What size gates? They are precision 38s. I think they're pretty small. They're pretty small. Why do you not use a glide? Purely just because the car came with a 400 in it. It was that way, and in order to switch to a glide, I'd have to switch the trans mount, the drive shaft, everything else. Why do all that? It's already running, and you know what I mean. Crossville, yep. Hit that like button, you come to Tennessee. Well, I plan on it. Right now, the game plan is to go there. The issue that I'm having currently is, I was going to try to pull it up, is the weather. Weather is not looking super great. Switch the wastegate lines to the intake manifold. No, the wastegate lines go to the MAC valves. So what I'm not super excited about is the weather, and that is like a 10 plus hour drive to get there, and I want to go up there and have fun and enjoy myself, but driving 10 plus hours for inclement weather is not my idea of a good time. So I'm going to wait and see how that pans out. What did you do with the other Camaro? I still have it. It's in storage. It is waiting. Essentially, when I bought this car, my thought process was, cool, now I'll have this car, and when I'm ready to do the other car, I can take as many parts off of this one as I want to put on the other one. You ever run at ATCO? I personally have not run. I've been up there before with my friends, the Belly, and I've been there before a couple times, but I've personally never raced up there. Yeah, it's been raining a lot here, man. Super humid. Yeah, well, it looks like Crossville is getting rain for like the next week straight. So I'm not. I don't know. He's saying for boost source should be at the intake. It will make the gate make boost faster than having the source off the turbo. Man, we don't have a problem making the boost. The problem we were having is that I was I was babying the shit out of the Mac valves. That was what the problem was. The problem was I had stuck in my head that do you have CO2 for boost? I have neither. So I have neither of them. What I have is I have 4-port Mac valves, and it works differently than CO2 or dome pressure or any of that stuff. It works off of duty cycle off the Mac valve, and it's just um, running off of the turbo compressor pressure and all that kind of stuff, right? So what happened is I had it in my head that we made like, for some reason I had it in my head that we made like 10 pounds on 15% duty cycle. So we were constantly playing with that 10 to 15% duty cycle and blah 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 and all that kind of stuff. And then I was like, man, like we got up to like 20 and it really wasn't reacting the way that I expected it to. It has 4-pound springs in each of the wastegates. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just be a jerk, and we're going to turn this. I think we had the Mac valves that first pass set at like 20, and I was like, we're gonna 20% duty cycle. I was like, we're gonna screw with this. We're gonna get buck nasty here. So I put it up. It was at 25, and I was like, I'm gonna double it. And I was like, no, let me not double it. Let me go to 45%. As soon as I turned the Mac valves on 45% duty cycle, that thing woke right up, started making boosts like it's supposed to, everything. It's just we didn't have it set right, and that's just seat time. Also, this engine is different. It makes power differently, and there's all kinds of stuff. So I'm glad to see more racing content from you and less work. Please, brother, please, you're telling me. I would much rather be racing than constantly fixing a damn thing. But, oh, y'all be so far off in the comments sometimes that it just makes me scratch my head. Like, y'all be wild in them comments. Y'all be like so off the mark. But we got a few more minutes. Oh, but I do want to get back to work because, like I said, I want to go over, and now that we've made passes on the car, several passes, I want to check all the rear stuff again. I had checked it, just pretty much just about after every pass. Mostly it was like I was a paranoid thing because like I kept hearing stuff in the back. This thing is a tin can, so you hear every noise, and I could hear. I'm assuming I was hearing the tire shake and everything and stuff rattling back there, so it had me like on edge, like is everything okay back there or what? But seat time stuff. We'll get it all figured out. Fixing is part of racing. Absolutely, fixing is a part of racing. The problem is I've been doing more braking and fixing. Like the ratio is completely off. I've been doing 95% braking and fixing versus 10% racing. Like, if 10%. So we need to be more to like I'm happy with like a 70-30. Like I'll fix 70% of the time, race 30. I'd really love to be like the other direction, race 70% of the time, fix 30, but whatever. You gotta put the cars together fast. It pays to have a team. I don't really have a team, unfortunately. I've got some folks that can help out every once in a while, but if I had a really committed full-time team, I think it'd be amazing what we could do. I would love to have a race team. That is something that would be really, really awesome if I could figure out how to make happen in the future. Definitely a goal of mine. When I retire and get my truck done, I'll be sure done. I will make a point to come out your way for sure. Damn right, Scott. That's what's up. If it doesn't break, you're not doing it right. Yeah, Mallory said something about that. She's like, it's just it's a race car. Like they're gonna do that. That's what they do. If it's not putting you through hell, then it's probably not really a race car, is it? I had to put an engine in my Nova every other week when I raced. It happens, but I'm still gonna be hard. Yeah. Oh man, it'd be like that sometimes, and sometimes you just be on a streak, and oh man, but then sometimes you have really good times, and you race for ever and ever and ever, and you get to travel and have a bunch of fun and meet cool people and hang out and make awesome videos. So, can you help me tune my 5.3 Terminator? I cannot. That is not something I can help you out with, unfortunately. Team up with Nick the Nomad. If you're not breaking stuff, you aren't trying hard enough. Yeah, we trying something, man. Damn. What's up, babe? Oh, she went back inside. So, look, guys, I appreciate it. I appreciate you tuning in on the live stream. I'm going to get back to work. I want to film another video. I would like to test the car before we go to Tennessee. That would be, like, awesome thing. You know what I mean? That'd be really, really dope if we could do that. How's Malice? She gonna do any racing? No, she doesn't really, like, racing is my thing. Not that she wouldn't, but, like, that's not her interest in life. She has other hobbies. So, I appreciate it, guys. I'm gonna jump off here for now. Get back to work. Y'all are the very best. Once again, thank you, Raid Shadow Legends, for being today's live video stream sponsor. That's what's up. For now, I'm gonna get back to work. Chassis, we don't have. Well, that's a whole other thing. Send it. Oh yeah, Isaac. Let me send you that video. I'm gonna send it to him right now. Damn it. Not Isaac Preston. Where was it? Because the shit was funny. There we go. Alright, guys. Y'all have a good night. Thank you for tuning in. Y'all the absolute best. I'm jumping off here for now, and we'll catch you next time.